we already understand, black people, white people, the nation, the world already understand that black Americans were done a huge injustice, one of the greatest injustices in this world. In fact, the greatest injustices of this world as a people, as people relations. We all know and understand that with a lot of this issue is for the government to take care of, not for the average white, because I will understand a lot of white people points where they say like, yo, listen, we wasn't born during that time, so why should we feel obligated, you know what I mean, to pay for slavery when we wasn't here? And they have a valid point, but like I said, it has nothing to do with just white people. This has to do with the government. You know what I mean? The government has to take a responsibility, because it was in this nation that the government governed over at the time of slavery into these times. You know what I mean? Where not only they allowed slavery, but they supported slavery through legislature. And then after they supported slavery through legislature, they supported these black codes as well. The court summarized the flight of the recent freed slaves. They were in some states forbidden to appear in towns in any other character than menial servants. They were required to reside on and cultivate the soil without the right to purchase or own it. They were excluded from any occupations of gain and were not permitted to give testimony in the courts in any case where a white man was a party. It was said that their lives was at the mercy of bad men, either because the laws for their protection were insufficient or were not enforced. Black men and women out of the workforce entirely, so black people weren't able to get the income, because if we was able, after slavery, if we was able to get the income, you know what I mean, that we needed to take care of our families, we wouldn't be in the condition that we are today. You know what I mean? So the initial sin of slavery, you know, we deserve reparations for, but post-slavery, we deserve reparations for as well, because they stopped us from making money. You know what I mean? But to the average white person today that works hard for a living, you know what I mean, I understand where they coming from, and they're right. You know, they shouldn't be the ones. Every white person wasn't a slave owner or even racist, you know. But let's think about this. This nation is a rich, wealthy nation. You know what I mean? Of course, current events, we are facing some tough economical times. However, this is the most wealthiest nation in this world, and we know the sins that our country have done, and we will not rectify it. And that's where it's like an insult and a slap in the face. Like they saying, oh, you don't deserve it, you're lazy. The wrongdoing that has been done to African Americans in this country, and it's this government responsibility to rectify it. For example, they say where the money is going to come from. Is it going to come from taxpayers' dollars? That's the really big beef. Like, where's the money going to come from? Where's the money going to come from? We don't care where it comes from, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Yeah, it could come from the taxpayer dollars, but you know, if you want to be really technical about it, this government, the United States of America, is giving U.S. aid to Israel, and that's not only your taxpayer dollar, that's my taxpayer dollar. You know what I mean? I work. You know what I mean? I pay my taxes. So my money is going over to Israel, and Israel is, let's see what it says, foreign aid grants and loans, 74 billion, 157 million, $600,000. The grand total is 84 billion, 854 million, $827,200. And you can find this right here at U.S. aid to Israel. Just Google it. Financial aid to foreign countries from the U.S. government. And you'll see that they're giving these people money in the billions every year, but they can't rectify what happened with slavery. The United States of America gives airplanes, fighter planes, fighter jets to different countries. They give all types of supplies, food, money to different countries all over the world. But they can't rectify slavery and what happened to black people, even though still to this day black people are suffering from economic deprivation. Like I told you about the black child that starts hustling, dealing drugs as a young man. That means his family has fallen. This man's family has fallen. He grew up in poverty. He grew up hungry, and he go out to make some money, but he catch a felony. And now that he has a felony, he can't find work nowhere in the world. In this nation, it's very hard. And if he does find work, it's a job that can't pay his bills. He's getting paid $6 an hour, $7 an hour. Black people be happy to make $8, $9 an hour. You know what I mean? And that's like an average, and who could live off of that? The CIA bringing in drugs into black communities, consciously bring it to the United States, put it in, urban neighborhoods that's impoverished already. So you poor, and when you poor and you depressed, most people, as they have done, look for a way to self-medicate. So they decided to self-medicate with drugs. The people that they gave the drugs to sell them was breaking the law. So they get time in jail, for making money, and their lives are destroyed. But they was poor before then. So we need to start to analyze the laws, that go around, the drugs, the drug game. Because if you poor and you do something to make money, it's a trade. You give a person something to get something in return. You shouldn't be casted out of the workforce when you go to apply for a job. And that's what's happening here. And that's why people are still suffering, and people are still complaining. There's still poverty. You wonder why it's complaining going on, because we find out that the government brought drugs in to make money off of us. We make the money for them in our communities, destroy our own communities in the process of making money for the government from drugs that the government put there themselves. And then they give us the drugs, we go out, and sell the drugs, and then they lock us up in jail for the rest of our lives for selling the drugs that they gave us.